What's up guys, it's Milkytea here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the game Destiny. I've been playing this non-stop since the day it came out. I went to the midnight launch, got it from game, got home straight away, downloaded all the downloads it needed, and started playing straight away and jumped into the campaign and everything. Some friends say I went through it a bit too quickly. I didn't bother to look around, find the ghosts and chests and stuff. I just wanted to get the story done and look for that stuff later, because it's something to do. I wanted to see what the story was like. And that's the first part of the review, is the story. Now, I know that the story went through so many changes in its development, and the final product, the story's good, like the ideas of the story are good. I think the ghost is just appalling. The fact that all it does really is just open doors and stuff like that, that's completely disappointing. It should have a lot more aspects, because it's meant to be like your partner basically. The only good aspect of it is it's telling you information as you go along, and it's good information to listen to because you learn about the world or the universe you're in. But I think it's completely disappointing that it just opens doors. That's it. That's really all it does. Or it spawns in your sparrow, but that wow. The characters in the story are interesting to say the least. I do like the Queen. I think her storyline in the House of Wolves is something I want to look forward to, and I hope they do a lot of story around her, because I think she's an amazing character. I also want to see a bit more aspect of her brother, to see where that's going along, because I know that in the original concept he was meant to be a bad guy you see on Earth, who's like an assassin meant to kill you or something like that, but they changed it to him just being downgraded to a low caste character. The stranger you meet through on Venus and the moon, I really want her to come back. I want to know everything about her. I'm interested to know. What else was there? The enemies in the story. I like the bosses. The bosses are very tricky. You've got to think about it, and they've each got their own different aspects of like attacks and stuff. My most personally hated one is Fogoth. I think that eye blast is so overpowered, it's ridiculous. But on his own, he's not that much of a threat. It's what makes him so difficult is how much damage he does on his own, and then the amount of enemies spawning in the room. It's absolutely ridiculous, especially on the higher difficulties. Even with all the gear you've got, you are losing so much health if you're not careful. And especially on the Nightfall, when, say, either Void burns on, so his eye blast is like devastating, 1 second and you're virtually dead. Or when Arc burns on and he just the enemies completely ridicule you. Because it's wizards and it's knights, they all just kick the crap out of you. It's ridiculous. The ending, the Black Garden, I thought that was lackluster. It was basically the same mini-boss 3 times, but a little bit more challenging. That was it. That was all it was, really. I wish they'd have made it so it was different bosses, but like a lot more higher difficulty. But the fight was challenging, and it was fun to do. What else in the story did I enjoy? I think Venus is the most loved planet. I think I love Venus the most. The Archon Priest was a nice boss. People say he's very challenging, when I find him quite easy, to be honest. You don't really have to fight the enemies around you. If you stay up the one area, you can keep moving about, stay in safe cover, and keep shooting him, while only attacking 1 or 2 enemies that come over. So for the most part, you don't have to fight most of the enemies that are out there. And the Nexus, a tricky one, on higher difficulties, but lower down, it's manageable on your own, really. And just the planet is just so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I love it. You've got the mountains, you've got the city, and the water is like a really nice light blue and glows. It's like, ooh. No, but I think the enemies were quite interesting. You've got the Fallen with their different aspects. You've got like the dregs, acolytes, sorry, the vandals, sorry. Then you got the captains. You've got the servitors, and they all just build up quite a tricky play. They mostly go for solar weapons and one or two arc, and the servitors avoid. You then got the Hive, which are, if you don't know what the Hive are, the basic concept, if you played Halo, they're basically like the Flood, except they don't like take over your body. You got the Thrall, which they're the lowest class, but they can actually be the most dangerous, especially when there's loads of them. Their melee doesn't do a lot of damage, but when they're all slicing at you, you can lose some health. Especially when the debuff light switch is on, which is melee damage increase. I think it's just like, even I'm the highest level now at level 32. Even the lowest level Thrall you can run into with light switch on, it only takes about 3 of them to kill you. Really, you've really got to be careful around them, and they run really fast. You then got Curse Thrall, which self-destruct. They can be really dangerous if you're not careful. Acolytes, Acolytes aren't really that much of a threat. They're easier to kill than Thrall, to be honest. They obviously take more hits to kill, but they seem easier for me. And then you got Knights, which, if they've got no shield, a headshot will kill them with a sniper. But if they have got a shield, they can be your worst nightmare. Because you've got to take down the shield to then start making them lose health. And they have this black shield that is impenetrable. You can't break it. Besides a new weapon they've introduced, but I don't know anything about it. And you've got to either move around them or wait for it to go. And the worst threat from them is the wizards. Oh my god, I hate the wizards. Just, oh. Shield. And if they got yellow health, they're ridiculous because they're so powerful. It's onslaught. I mean, in the Fogoth strike on, like, say, Nightfall difficulty, you got 4 yellow health wizards, and especially when Arcburn is on, oh my god, you're dead. You're dead. You've got to be so goddamn careful. It is ridiculous. Even as a defender titan, I basically go down as easy as a hunter does. It's oh my god. I think a hunter can live like 1 or 2 bolts, and they send at least 10 a second. It's like like that. It's ridiculous. The ogres aren't too tricky. The ogres can actually be taken out with quite ease. I think that's it, to be honest, from Hive. You then move on to Venus and you fight the Vex, which are basically robots. The Vex can be overwhelming. Harpies, not that tricky unless they've got a shield. Goblins, no. Hobgoblins, they can be the threat. They're the snipers, and they do a ridiculous amount of damage, and their snipers are quite fast firing. But they've also got a mode where once they take a certain section of damage, they'll go into this like mode where they freeze up, where they can't be damaged. And if you need them, the shield that they like put up, it does damage to you, but not a lot. The biggest threat from the Vex really is the Minotaurs. They are, oh my god, they're ridiculous. They've got a shield, and their weapon is so devastating, and their melee is devastating as well. And when Void Burn's on, they're your worst nightmare. Like, ridiculous. But they do have a thing where when you're taking down the shield and you do enough damage to them, they'll lose their head. They can still attack you, and they'll go into like rage mode, but they won't recharge their shield then. That's it. They're stuck with that health, which is fantastic. The only other enemy there is then the Hydra, which is what the Nexus is. They're not too tricky. It's just they've got a shield, like a decent chunk that goes around their like 3/4 of their body that slowly moves round. So you've got to do a certain amount of damage in a certain time, or you have to move around with the shield to keep doing damage. But they've got the same weapon as the Minotaur, and they just do. What else is there? Oh, then we move on to the Cabal. Now the Cabal really, if you're low level, they're really hard. If you're a high level, they're okay as long as you're careful. They're more of physical attackers and long range. Mid range, you're pretty much sorted. Um, they've got the biggest threats though, in my opinion. Their lower class are quite challenging, and then it just gets ridiculous. Um, oh, what are they called? I can never remember the name of the cabal. They've basically got their lower class, which are really easy to take out. They got like captains with a shield on, which they can be really dangerous on higher difficulties, especially when solar burns on. But they're quite easy to take out once their shield's gone. You got phalanxes. I remember their name. They've got the shield, which if that melees you, 9 times out of 10 you're dead because it will send you flying across the map and you'll hit a rock or something. And the only way to take them down is to shoot their one arm that's just past the shield, and they like stumble, and then you can shoot their head a bit. But when what's the debuff called? There's a debuff that stops them flinching, so you can only do damage to their arm, which takes a lot of bullets. Especially when they're yellow health, they're basically sponges. They will just take the bullets. It's ridiculous. Then you move on to Colossus, which, oh my god, I hate them. They are my worst nightmare, Colossus. They've got no shield. All they've got is this massive machine turret that completely wrecks you. And on top of that, they've got missiles that will lock onto you and are devastating in their own right. And they've got a ground slam, so when you get too close, they will wreck. They are basically fantastic at any range. They are your worst nightmare completely, and they're sponges of damage. After that, I don't think there's anything else from them. Oh, the Scions, and you've got Scions. They're really weak, but really powerful. They're ridiculous. They've got a wave that goes along the floor that will do devastating damage. Their melee is devastating, and their guns are quite powerful as well. And when it comes to like nightfalls and stuff, when they've got their shield, they've got a void shield, which most people don't carry. I carry it because I like void weapons. But their shield's ridiculous to take out. I hate they are a serious threat in their own right. That's it for enemies. I think they've got everyone down. To get back to the story, as I said, the story was just lackluster. It wasn't long enough. I like to get involved in the story, and I was. And when I was really starting to get into it, it ended. I was like, And then with the story of the DLC, The Dark Below, the story was virtually non-existent. It was just basically about Eris and her tales. You had to do missions for her. It wasn't really a story per se. You just find out that she lost her teammates when attacking the Night King. I guess he's called the Son of Oryx. He's basically a giant knight called Crota, and it's just basically about how she lost her team. But they don't go into detail about how or what happened. It's just they waited on the moon and then struck when they felt they were ready, and then they all died except for her. And like it took them years to do this. That's essentially all they said. It was, and £20 for it. It's like, meh. It wasn't really worth it. But I enjoyed it all the same. The missions were fun and a lot more challenging than usual. You have to really be light on your feet and think. So that was fun, I guess. Move on to Crucible, which is player versus player. It is so broken at times. I like the fact that lower levels can compete with high levels because level advantage isn't on. You all do equal damage and stuff like that, except for like the classes and stuff. Which I don't mind. I actually like that. I don't mind being beaten by a level 4. It shows that someone who's high level and has earned their level needs to know that just because they're a low level doesn't mean they're weak. It just means they've only just started playing. And if they are better than you, you really need to think, I need to learn some things here. They're better than me and they've only just started. Either need to rethink your weapon choice, or you need to start earning some skill and learning new tricks. The radar in both PvE And PvP, I hate the radar. It's good in certain situations where it says the area of which they're coming in, but when they start getting close, it only gives you a generalization of where they are. It doesn't pinpoint where they are, whether they're below or whether they're above, or barely does it. I wish they had a dot system where you could see where enemies are coming from and give an accurate reading of how many. It's so inaccurate, and I rely on my radar because it gives me the idea of where they're coming from so I can prepare myself for where I'm looking. Because I'm more of an ambush player. I like to be ready and waiting for them. So the radar is disappointing in both aspects. Iron Banner, which is like really competitive control, which is like taking sectors and earning points. It's good and it's bad. It's good that the level advantage is turned off, so anyone from level 20 upwards can really play. But it gets to the point where that gets ridiculous. Like, level 20s would only do, like, tiny damage to a level 26. And the 26 will do crap loads of damage to the 20. So, unless you're the highest level with the best weapons, you're not going to do very well. Unless you've got the skill to somewhat back you up. But even then, you'll still struggle. I myself did decently well because I had the right weapons, I was a decent level, and I've got a decent skill. I'm not the best player in the world, but I've got a decent skill. I get a decent amount of kills. And 9 times out of 10, I'm dragging my team, which really irritates me. I'm like, well, I'm putting all the effort in, where's yours? But I do like PvP. It does anger me sometimes when there's lag and stuff like that. And there's a cheap tactic going around where fusion rifles are too overpowered. It's just like, you're dead. If it lands, you're dead. And there's an ability on hunters, and I think warlocks have it as well, called Blink, where it's the jump where you do a tiny teleport, either upwards or to the side somewhere. And people use that to get in the air, and then they shotgun you. And that is so broken. It pisses me off every time. It takes no skill whatsoever to just go, ding, boom. Where's the skill? And the fact that there's so much ammo drops around for special weapons that they never run out of ammo. It is ridiculously broken. It just annoys the hell out of me. I wished I had a thing where if you use Blink, the next, I'd say 3 shots from your shotgun do either half damage. So that way, the person who's like attacking them has a chance to reorientate themselves and go, okay, they're there, need to turn around and start shooting there. Rather than go, oh, they're there, I'm dead. It takes no skill, and it's just broken. I want that changed. Because I think it's a nice strategy, like, good on you for thinking of that. But when everybody's doing it, and they're just raking up free kills, it ruins the game. It ruins the experience. I want a game where everyone in it is using the best skills to the best of their abilities, and that just doesn't take skill. That's just a cheap tactic. Where people just sit there around corners with shotguns, it's like, good for you. You can react fast enough. I'd rather walk around with my primary and actually earn my kills, so we're both shooting each other, and the person who's the most accurate and with the better weapon choice for themselves is going to be the one who comes up on top, with a bit of luck involved as well. And 9 times out of 10 for me, I'm either hit by a heavy, hit by a super, or I'm like multiple teamed. I'm always on my own. My teammates are never behind me. Yeah, I'm always behind my teammates. So, disappointed in PvP. It could be so much better, but for what it is, it's okay. After so long, I have to give up. I can do about 5 matches before I start getting annoyed, and I have to come away from it for a little bit. What else is there to talk about? trying to think. The weapon drop system. It's good, and it's awful at the same time. Random weapon drop, like it's random what reward you're gonna get. It's a good idea. It allows people who aren't doing so well to get good things, and the people who are doing too well to get bad things. So it balances it out, so they're not constantly getting good things. But it also comes to the point where the people who are doing really bad and really well are constantly getting bad things. Or constantly getting good things, and it's like, well, why doesn't other people get this? It's annoying. I know a friend who's had like 6 icebreakers, which is the unlimited ammo ice exotic sniper, which I really need because I love sniping, and I always run out of ammo. So I have to keep using ammo drops that I get, and they only recharge every 5 minutes. So I have to wait 5 minutes before I can use my sniper again if I use my ammo, or if enemies don't drop it. So I'd really like that weapon. It's something I'd really utilise. It'd be perfect for me. But I never get it. Xur never sells it. And I never get it from a drop. I constantly get awful stuff now. Even though I know I've reached the max rank. But I do want better weapons. Because the snipers I've got are legendary. But I need that exotic because it's something that will really benefit me. But oh well. I know my friend Marion has got so much crap stuff that she wants good stuff. She's earning it, but she's not getting it from any of the drops, and it's really upsetting that they don't have a trade system, which I'm going to talk about in a minute, so you can give to your friends. Of which the trade system, why wasn't that included? That would have been amazing. People, if you make it so people wouldn't be able to abuse it, and actually have it so that people have to confirm that they want to do this trade, then why not? Why not have that? I've had 2 dragon's breaths. I wanted to give one to Marion, but I can't. I've had 2 thorns. I wanted to give one to a friend. I can't. I have so many shards. Ascendant shards, strange coins, stuff like that. And my friends have gone to Xur with their strange coins. He's a weapon, and he's basically the exotic weapon and armor seller, which he has select things each week to sell. And you have to buy them with strange coins, which are not hard to come by, but you've got to earn them up. And I've got like over 100 now because I've been saving up. And I want to give some to my friends because they need them. And they've had a weapon being sold. And I'm like, you need to get this. This will be brilliant for you. They can't. They don't have the strange coins. And then it's gone. That's it. So they have to wait for a random loot drop and be lucky. And it just upsets me. This game could have been so much. I was believing in the hype because what the hype was being shown on the screen. It wasn't, well, we weren't being lied to. When it come out, we were lied to. Everything that they said it would be, it wasn't. And people are blaming Bungie, and it's not Bungie's fault. Bungie have done their best to make the game as good as they can because Activision keep pulling the strings, and it's so upsetting to have Bungie have a fantastic series like Halo and have the success of Halo and then have this after. It's so disappointing. And the fact that Activision have forced them to, instead of having free content like Halo was, like 1 or 2 content you have to buy because there were a lot of stuff and a lot of time and effort would be made to them. So we were like, yeah, okay, we don't mind buying it because 1 or 2 of the map pack series were free. So it's like, okay, if you think it's worth it, we'll buy it. And most of the time, it was worth it. I remember Sandbox from Halo was completely worth it. It was an amazing map, made so many maps on Forge. It was a perfect map, and it was worth the buy. But with Destiny, the DLC, it's... The only good one is the one that coming after the House of Wolves. It's got so many missions, so many strikes, and it's what £20 is worth. With £20, we got 1 strike, 1, 2, 3 story missions, I think. 3 story missions, 1 raid for £20. I know it takes a lot of time to design and build up what this is, but they'd already got all the mechanics set and ready. You just had to the download. All it was basic stuff, and to just unlock it. Basically, it's already set in the game. I mean, I've broken into a DLC area on Earth that's meant to be for the House of Wolves, and it's already set and ready. The enemies are even there. The only thing that's different is the fact that the mission's not there to actually go and do it, to have that area actually unlocked instead of having to break into it with glitches. So making us pay for the DLC is just cheap and wrong. And it's just disappointing. But to get off the negative stuff, because I've probably missed some things that annoy me. But to be fair, it is a very good game. Even after all that, I still think it's a good game. It's a game where you have to work with your friends or with a team. You have to think. It really gets me mentally stimulated. I've I know this sounds stupid, like what the hell. I've been out of breath after part of the raid because it was that taxing on my mind. I was having to think that quickly and react. It wore me out. It was ridiculous. And I love that. I love that feeling. That I was being mentally stimulated that much that I was getting out of breath. I was losing energy because I was thinking that much and that quickly. And it was fun to have that experience with my friends. If you don't have friends on here, then it's fun to try and make new friends. And just like make new teams. Go out there and do what you need to do. It's just, it is a good game. It's got an addicting quality where you might be doing the same mission over and over and over again, but it won't get boring that quickly because it's stimulating you that much. And I think that's what most games don't have these days. The story may be good enough to keep you going, the gameplay may be good enough to keep you going, but it doesn't mentally stimulate you as much as it probably should. And Destiny has that, luckily. That's the only redeeming quality, is that it's got that. So overall, out of 10, I'd give this a good 7. At lowest a 6, at highest an 8. It's definitely no 9 or 10, because it's got so many issues and so many problems. And don't get me started, the one thing I didn't mention was the servers. When there's been an update or anything like that, the servers are ridiculously cruel. The fact that you have to restart missions and stuff like that, it's so cruel. You have to have like a perfect internet connection to properly play it, and it's so upsetting. But yeah, I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. I'm sorry I can't show any game footage. I'm still trying to get used to my capture card to get it to work. If anybody can message me on, either put it in the comments or message me on Facebook if you have me on there, if you know anything about gaming capture cards and help me out, then I'd really appreciate it. But otherwise, guys, this is the end of my review. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope I've enlightened you on what Destiny is all about. It's basically just light versus dark. You're the guardians, you've got to stop the darkness. And you just go through the story as it is and learn all about the world that's set around and the story that comes with it. And for the most part, it is enjoyable. And I'm looking forward to the further expansions to see where it goes. And hopefully they'll fix a lot of the issues that people have problems with. But it's all down to Bungie and Activision, so hopefully they listen to their fans and do things right. But as I say, guys, I will be doing more gaming stuff soon. I've just had to sort myself out recently. So I'm now back in action. I'll be recording more Showdown, more of the Potluck series. So that will be coming out soon. So for now, this is Milky Tea signing off. Peace!